This video we'll hear from Trump, Stephen Miller, Rubio, Thomas Sowell, and more. Check out our amazing president.
No, thank you.
Thank you
I've
very
been
much.
looking forward to this visit for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Meeting such a great president like yourself.
That's a very nice thing. See, he knows how to get to me. He knows. He can have anything. Now he can have anything. Would you like to say something?
See, there's our president with high levels of self-confidence. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's up to. Versus the Democrat Party, which, as Asmongold says here, is full of a bunch of BPD, borderline personality disorder, single women. The strongest voting bloc for the Democrat Party is single young women. Let's see what he has to say. He can say it himself.
Ideology, that doesn't mean that you're right. It just means that what you're saying doesn't immediately disprove itself when you apply it to a similar situation. And I think that's the reason why. And why is that? It's because the Democratic Party is represented by a bunch of BPD single women. That's the reason why. The strongest voting bloc for the Democratic Party is because it is single young women. That's it. It's women that are not married. And the reason why is they don't have a man to take care of them, so instead they need the state to do the same thing. And by the way, by marriage and let's see, Jen.
And a big part of the reason that they're trying to bring in so many illegals is to get a larger sum of people that can vote for them, because they don't have anybody else. It says here the most loyal Democrats in America are broke-ass postgrads who spent six figures on degrees and still make less than a union electrician. People with postgraduate degrees pulling in 30 to 60,000 vote Democrat at 70%, right? But they're not having children, so they don't have the ability to do much else. They can't win elections, and they don't have the future if they're not having any children. Conservatives are having a lot more children. Conservative women have a much higher birth rate than liberal women. So they're trying to bring in illegals in order to stir the pot. It says here, Thomas Sowell clocked these over-credentialed specimens years ago when he called them intellectuals, the ones whose entire currency is ideas instead of results. The most reliably Democrat voters in America aren't the poor, aren't the rich. They're these people with these making less than $60K a year, not the wealthy. And Thomas Sowell has said repeatedly that these people don't have to test their ideas against reality, so they can build bad idea on top of bad idea for an entire career. It says here, the democratic socialism is communism in disguise. It is, right? Dem suck is ing suck, like Orwell's 1984.
Byron, the president's decided to go all in on the C word, taking this message to Georgia today. Do you think young people know enough about communism to have that be an effective line of attack?
Well, that's a good question just about the word communism, but the president and other Republicans can elaborate on what the DSA says it wants to do. Now, the DSA has been very helpful in publishing a platform in the last couple of weeks, which is basically, if you read it, it is a blueprint for destroying the U.S. government. They would abolish the Senate. They would create a new sort of super House of Representatives. They would get rid of the presidency and the Supreme Court and replace them with a new sort of executive underneath the Congress. And of course, everything would be free. There would be no prisons. They would get rid of the Department of Defense, too. It's all there in their platform. And I think it's going to be a really rich source of information for Republicans who are running against Democrats or Democratic Socialists in the midterms.
That's just the Democrat Party at this point, right? The majority of these liberal women we discussed earlier are actually socialists. So I don't think we want any of that to happen. It's quite bad. And here's what Stephen Miller had to say about it.
It for your audience perfectly, Sean. This was not a loophole. The Biden administration Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire...
So that's what they were trying to do under the Biden administration in order to make up for the lack of births. Here's what Marco Rubio has to say about where we're at.
Marxism is the single most evil and destructive ideology that mankind has ever known. It divides countrymen against each other by design. It divides people against each other by design. Whether that divide is between rich and poor, or on the basis of gender and race and religion and who you voted for, it is divisive and destructive nonetheless. And so if we have one mission, if we have one goal, it isn't liberal versus conservative or Republican versus Democrat. It's America versus this Marxist ideology, which is what it is. Call it for what it is. Defeat it, or it will destroy our country. Defeat it, and we will save our country, and our children will inherit what we inherited, the single greatest nation in all of human history.
Absolutely. America is absolutely the best place on earth, and these people would be served better to remember that. It says here, there's no evidence of fraud. Oh, there's some fraud, but it's not widespread. And the illegals who voted were just confused.
He's been in office for a full year now. They have not come up with any of this purported evidence of voter fraud. You guys are in search of something that there's been no evidence exists. New Jersey is double checking its voter rolls tonight after a software error added 6,600 non-citizens to the voter rolls. The suggestion that this is fraud suggests that these people were trying to vote. Sometimes what happens is that when state systems are incorrect, people receive information and they are confused. Where some people who are ineligible to vote are not aware that they're ineligible to vote. I do think it's whether it is widespread or not matters. I do think that.
Okay, and then it says here, Fed Chair Kevin Warsh is now receiving calls to fire Xbox CEO Asha Sharma from the Fed's task force after she was exposed hiring H-1B workers to replace Americans. Let's see what he has to say.
So they get their H-1B visa approved, and then they get fired from Microsoft. Congressman, you sent a letter to Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh after the CEO of Xbox was appointed to the Fed's Productivity and Jobs Task Force. Have you heard back?
I've not heard back. You know, it's a little breaking news. I just sent this late afternoon yesterday before we headed to the floor, and I want her removed. I mean, so she's the head of productivity and jobs on this task force. I mean, I guess what's the strategy? Fire your workforce and apply for H-1B visas. I think the H-1B visa program needs to be done away with. I think it's a scam. I think it's replacing our people here in the United States. We are a country. We're not an international free trade zone where everybody can come in and compete for our jobs. The American worker is the only worker in the world that has to compete with workers from all over the world inside their own borders. And we have millions of people graduating college and technical school and trade school every year who are being outbid in terms of wages. not outworked. And I don't think that that's right. I think we need to get rid of the H-1B visa program.
Yeah, and you recently wrote an op-ed for Fox News Digital about it, the need to address issues with the H-1B visa approval process. Walk us through what can be done here, because, you know, you talk with CEOs out there of global businesses, and they're all in on the H-1B visa process and hiring people who have those visas. What are your concerns?
Well, and look, I get why they're for it. I mean, they get to import cheap foreign labor from all over the world. But look, we are a country. Citizens do have, I think, some type of exclusivity.
All right, he had in some points there worth listening to. And here's the great Thomas Sowell on Donald Trump.
Williams. Now we come to current politics. The bottom line is that President Donald Trump does not have the personal character that we would want our children to imitate, but, save his misguided international trade policies, has turned out to be a good president. Tom?
I think his policies have been, by and large, policies that were far better than that of previous Democratic or Republican administrations.
So
I go by the consequences.
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't produced the right rhetoric, but the fact is that unemployment among low-income people, Black, Hispanic included, is at a level that is far lower than it's been in decades. The economy is booming in a way that no one had predicted. People like Paul Krugman was saying that when Trump gets in, the economy is going to tank. No, the economy hit new highs.
All right.
But there are so many people among the intelligentsia, especially, who are absolutely immune to facts. It's as if they took their anti-fact shots every year, and the facts will just not affect them.
So this brings us back. I can understand. I mean, I really can. My understanding is limited, which is why I'm going to put this in the form of a question. I can understand the never-Trumpers who don't bother me with economic boom because this man is on my television screen every single night and I can't stand him. I can understand. I can see that impulse. I can understand what they feel.
This is the second consecutive president of the United States that I automatically turn off when I'm watching on television.
All right. Keep the remote right next to your hand. Okay. Who was the first?
Obama.
Got it. You're totally bipartisan in that regard, Tom.
Always. No other way.
But the Great Society, the larger point that you've been making here, the Great Society, the war on poverty, this is now 6 decades of experience.
Yes.
And we have, as you have said, the gap hasn't closed. We've got dissolution of the family structure, rising crime rates. That I don't understand. How can it be that the people, now I don't know how to remain bipartisan, but Democrats, liberals, the progressives, just are not, the evidence is in. This has not worked. Why, after more than half a century, there's still a refusal to look at the evidence?
Yes, and there's even a tendency to falsify the evidence.
And how come?
I think people become attached to a vision, and that really warps the way they see the world. Human beings have an enormous capacity to rationalize.
Vision of the Anointed. Good old Thomas Sowell right there. Here's more from Stephen Miller about the contrast between Republicans and the INGSOC or the DemSOC communists.
The Democrat Party has embraced not only socialism, they've embraced communism. Straight up, outright, full-throated communism. They are now electing candidates who want to take private industry over, give it to the government, suspend the Constitution, abolish the Senate, abolish borders, abolish prisons, abolish jails, abolish the jury system, abolish our entire way of life. The contrast has never been more clear. There's President Trump, the Republican Party, and American First, or there are the crazy communist lunatics who will steal everything you know and love in this nation, and they will never, ever let you have it back.
The Democratic Socialists want to destroy all checks and balances in government. I've been saying that for years. And then the little
that their education is not that.
The little casual socialists tell me that somehow that's not true.
And I think the average Ivy League grad voting for this mayor is highly annoyed that their education is not that valuable, and the person down the street who knows how to drill for oil and gas who's moved to Texas has a more valuable profession. And I think that annoys the fuck out of these people.
It does. Imagine having $100,000 in debt, never being able to pay it off, and being, having some useless job in government.
I would love to hear what this discussion is, where we have to adjudicate whether objectivity is rooted in white supremacy. But these same people will also tell you that being polite is white supremacy. Will tell you that being on time, that being an analytical thinker is all part of being a white supremacist. And what they're really trying to do, of course, is to label everybody, to create a constant revolution that they can continue pursuing, to continually undermine the American people with goals that can never be reached in order to fundamentally tear apart our country and the values that it was built on. I would love to hear what this discussion...
Yeah, it's terrible. All right. Vigilant Fox. Clay Travis nails the real reason so many leftists with expensive degrees hate capitalism. It's simpler than you think.
I think it's so incredibly important. These highly educated, young, far left-wing Democrats hate capitalism because they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on degrees that the country does not value, and they are angry that they are not getting paid for what's largely a valueless education. Meanwhile, look at that graphic. All the guys and gals out there that didn't go to college and spend $200,000 on a women's studies degree, they're deciding how to be a plumber, how to be an electrician, and they're driving better cars and they're making more money. And all those people who have all these highly educated degrees, they're furious because the world is valuing other people's labor more than their own. They should take a lesson. Young kids out there should take a lesson. Get fungible, useful skills as opposed to some of these women's studies degrees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if we don't fight against this socialist nonsense, we might end up with something like this down the road. It says there from Spencer Pratt, you cannot vote your way, or you can vote your way into communism, but you can't vote your way out. Nicaragua's president, Daniel Ortega, said the Central American country will no longer hold elections.
No volverán a haber elecciones. No volverán a haber elecciones para que por ahí intenten ellos atrapar el gobierno, atrapar el poder. Y vamos a trabajar con las asambleas nacionales y con las organizaciones correspondientes, las leyes, porque hay que hacer las leyes que les pongan un muro, un bloque a los golpistas, a los vendepatrias, y que por mucha plata que le den los yanquis, no podrán, no volverán a ver.
Okay, anyways, we don't want any of that socialist nonsense. We don't want a dictator. The democratic socialists see themselves as future dictators of the proletariat, and we can't let that happen. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Check it out. Have a great day.